NASCAR CEO Jim France has just been caught red-handed in what can only be described as the most shocking abuse of power in motorsports history, and the explosive backlash from team owners has completely exposed the corrupt underbelly of America's premier racing series. What France attempted to do behind closed doors has sent shockwaves through the entire NASCAR garage, and the almighty revolt that followed has revealed the ugly truth about how the France family operates their racing empire with complete disregard for competitive integrity. The scandal erupted when it was revealed that France, who already controls every aspect of NASCAR as CEO and co-owner, was secretly planning to fund his own Cup Series car for the upcoming Sonoma Raceway race, creating the most blatant conflict of interest in professional sports history. This wasn't just a casual business venture. This was systematic corruption designed to give France direct control over both the sanctioning body and the competition itself, essentially allowing him to compete against the very teams he governs while writing the rules that determine their fate. The explosive details reveal that France was on the verge of bankrolling a Spire Motorsports vehicle with Jack Aitken from France's own IMSA sports car team Action Express Racing, set to take the driver's seat. While the car would have technically operated under Spire's banner, everyone in the garage immediately recognized this transparent attempt to circumvent conflict of interest concerns. But the most devastating part of this corruption scandal isn't just what France tried to do. It's how he's been systematically working to seize control of NASCAR competition while teams have been fighting desperately to maintain some semblance of competitive balance. There was reporting last year that France wanted to change the charter agreement to allow his family, who owns NASCAR, to buy into a charter team. The documented evidence reveals this represents a coordinated campaign to consolidate power that goes far beyond this single incident. The reaction from team owners and garage personnel was swift and brutal. High-level officials and team leaders within the sport raised concerns regarding how it looked for NASCAR's head honcho to field a car in the series he governs. And their fury was so intense that France was forced into a humiliating retreat. What makes this scandal even more explosive is the timing. France's attempted power grab comes amidst ongoing legal disputes with two Cup Series teams, 23XI Racing Co., owned by Michael Jordan, and Front Row Motorsports, who are currently suing NASCAR over the charter system. These teams alleged that the France family has leveraged its power to coerce teams into unfair agreements, including threats to revoke charters for non-compliance. France's decision to attempt to enter a Cup car during active litigation represents either stunning arrogance or deliberate intimidation of its legal opponents. The corruption runs even deeper when you examine the technical partnerships involved. The original plan was to field a Hendrick Motorsports car, but when the 4-car limit prevented that arrangement, France pivoted to Spire Motorsports. Watchir has a Hendrick alliance and appeared to be the next best thing. This connection to Hendrick Motorsports is particularly damaging because many NASCAR fans already believe Hendrick is given special consideration. They are seen as the favorite child in the garage. France's attempt to funnel his resources through the team, already perceived as receiving preferential treatment, exposes the systematic favoritism that has corrupted NASCAR competition. The garage revolt was so intense that even some team owners, who initially seemed supportive, began distancing themselves from the controversy. Spire Motorsports owner Jeff Dickerson's initial reaction of, "I didn't really even think it was that big of a deal," quickly shifted as the magnitude of the backlash became clear. But Dickerson's casual dismissal of the conflict of interest concerns reveals how normalized corruption has become in NASCAR's current structure. When team owners don't immediately recognize the ethical problems with their sanctioning body, CEO, competing against them, it demonstrates how far the sport has fallen from the basic principles of fair competition. The most damaging aspect of this scandal is what it reveals about France's motivations. Some insiders speculated that France's move might have been a subtle attempt to downplay team concerns about costs, implying that running a car is more financially viable than teams suggest. This interpretation suggests France was using its attempted entry as psychological warfare against teams currently fighting it in court over charter agreements and revenue sharing. The message would have been clear: if costs are as burdensome as teams claim, why can the CEO casually fund a competitive entry? The parallels to recent IndyCar controversies make this scandal even more explosive. The strong reaction from within the industry, stoked by comparisons to recent IndyCar controversies involving Roger Penske, underscores just how careful NASCAR must be when navigating the murky line between ownership and competition. The Roger Penske situation, where it was found that Penske had been using illegally modified parts dating back to 2024, created a template for how conflicts of interest between series ownership and team operations can destroy competitive integrity. NASCAR garage personnel were determined to prevent their sport from suffering similar damage. What makes France's attempted corruption even more infuriating is his systematic approach to seizing control of NASCAR competition. Between this report and reports from last year about Jim France wanting to buy into a NASCAR charter, it is clear that the CEO wants to get involved in the sport. This isn't isolated opportunism. This is a coordinated campaign to consolidate power that threatens the fundamental structure of NASCAR competition. France has been methodically working to position itself as both a rule-maker and a direct competitor, creating an impossible conflict that would destroy any remaining competitive balance. The legal implications are staggering. France is currently defending NASCAR against accusations that the France family has leveraged its power to coerce teams into unfair agreements. His attempt to enter competition during active litigation suggests either complete tone deafness or deliberate provocation of his legal opponents. Michael Jordan's 2311 Racing and Front Row Motorsports have accused NASCAR of serious abuse of power, and Jim France's response only made things worse. Instead of stepping back, he tried to force through an even more blatant move that showed just how unchecked his control is. Unlike leagues with independent oversight, NASCAR is run directly by France and his family, giving him control over both the rules and the competition. His failed attempt to enter a team he would also regulate exposed that dangerous setup. The garage revolt that followed, rare unity among rival teams, sent a strong message. Some lines can't be crossed, but France's refusal to give up shows this fight isn't over. The big question now is whether NASCAR can protect its integrity when the man in charge treats the sport like his own personal sandbox. France's attempt to compete against the very teams it governs was stopped for now, but the power imbalance that made it possible hasn't changed. Teams are angry, lawsuits are ongoing, and the same CEO is still writing the rules. This isn't just a failed deal. It's a warning about what happens when ambition goes unchecked.